Nikita Van Sawyer from Our World Media Magazine. I'm here with Ty Brown of the Brooklyn United Music and Arts Program, the Brooklyn United Marching Band. How are you today?
Really, really good. Always a great day.
Excellent. So Brooklyn United, as those of you who do not know, is a community-based organization that targets young adults and youth ages 5 to 26. Yeah. And you have a purpose of making sure that they're strong, well-rounded, and healthy, and empowered, and making some positive decisions. Definitely. So what about BU makes it exciting about getting up, rising and grinding each day?
It's really an amazing program. We say all the time that BU is divinely guided. It's really a spirit of community here, and we wake up each morning, sometimes 7 days a week, sometimes 6. If we're lucky, we'll do 5. But each week is something exciting going on. We have over 200 families here who come to us because they see the work we put in. The young people get an opportunity to engage each other in academics, engage each other in positive conversations, and of course the arts. For the kids, it might be the arts, but for the parents, they enjoy the family structure, the discipline, and things like that. So, it's like too much is given, much is required, and God has really blessed us with the opportunity to work with many, many families.
There's a lot of observations that I made about you. Like, you are very success-driven. You got this drive for excellence and purpose. Because you work with such a diverse age group of young people, how do you kind of fuse that into your programming with your staff and the young people, and how does that shape your programming?
The funny thing about learning is I believe that the key to success is start early. So the same thing as you demand of your 17-year-old, why not require that of your 5-year-old? I don't really see a big difference in what we should put on them. A lot of people might say it's too much pressure for a 5-year-old, too much pressure for a 7-year-old. And my response is, you see what's going on in this world? Mm-hmm. And my response is, we need to start earlier. We need to start earlier with structure, start earlier with discipline, goals, and being goal-oriented and structure-oriented and disciplined and focused, because the truth is that the world is changing. Mm-hmm. And what's required of us to be successful, the bar is raising. And at the same time, as the bar being raised, the resources aren't there. So here at BU, if I have to be the catalyst of excellence and the person that drives focus and attention from the youngest to the oldest, then so be it. Because to me, I won't let one of them not have the opportunities that they deserve to be successful. I kind of see it like a toolbox where our young people are walking around with an empty toolbox. Mm-hmm. And it's really about us as adults, what are we giving them to put into that box? Mm-hmm. And then are we teaching them which tool to use for which situation, which tool to use for which problem, and solutions and things like that. And the tools need to be, very specific, but broad at the same time, where they're equipped. And to me, the tool of self-discipline is the same for 5 as it is for 15, as it is for 25. The tool of success-driven is the same across the board. The tool of I can and of empowerment, that I feel like I'm not less than. Many of the young people who have challenges at home, reading disabilities, academic problems, staying still problems, moving around problems, these things are drilled into their head. They're constantly reminded of what they're doing wrong. Mm-hmm. Thus, they feel less than.
Right.
They feel less than. And thus, when it's time to compete for grades, or time to compete for attention from the classroom, when it's time to compete eventually for jobs or college opportunities, you're already going in and losing battle because you don't feel equipped.
Right.
So here at BU, we're determined to make sure that they know, despite anything anybody else told you outside of here, you don't have a choice or an option but to be amazing. Exactly. I'm going to see to it that you're amazing. I'm going to congratulate you for the things that you're doing right today that yesterday I didn't see in you. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to make sure that the time that you spend with me, that you feel the same as everybody else in that room. During this interview, we're completing a rehearsal with 110 kids.
Awesome.
And we want each and every one of them to feel like they can listen, focus, get it, and at the same focus and attention they can get in what we do here at BU, when they leave us in this outside world, they can knock out home runs daily in class, at home, overcome issues, overcome problems, and we're not going to stop.
Right.
We're not going to stop. This is going to be many years of us just driving that home. And as for parents who stick with us, they'll see great results.
Right. And you guys are a little over 3 years. You started in September 2013. So congrats. It
Thank
seems
you.
like you're growing in bounds and leaps.
Right.
So what inspired you to use music and arts as that tool to kind of inspire them to do these great things beyond limitations, beyond your neighborhood, beyond,
Well, we definitely believe that proper instruction can get the same exact results as we're getting, whether you use the basketball, football, or trumpet or drums. We believe that the arts and group activity allows for a certain team effort to come into play. The reason why we went with marching band, because that's where I got my start. Back in 1991, I joined an organization called the Jackie Robinson Center, of which I became, it became my home. It became my place to be and where I really began to grow and develop. And when I had the opportunity to be hired by the center, I never looked back. And I've been able to use drumline, marching band, trumpet, horns, and dance as the carrot that draws people together.
Right.
My specialty wasn't drums or horns or
You
dance.
didn't play an instrument.
I played for a little bit, nothing crazy. I wasn't a musician or nothing like that. My inspiration, direction was really God-given and God-driven. Many people see what we do here in Brooklyn and say, well, what college did he go to?
Exactly.
And who did he march for? And which fraternity did he cross? And the reality is, I now know to give the credit to God that He was my university, He was my fraternity, He was my crossover, because I never applied, I never attended. Academically, business mind, my spirit mind, my community connection is really just about the people He's allowed me to be a sponge to. Over the years, I've had the blessing of meeting some amazing people who allowed me to sit in on meetings, allowed me to learn from them. And that's been my teacher. That's been my education.
That's amazing. Because that was one of my questions is, talk about your approach to youth development, to quality, musicship and overall empowerment of young people. And one would assume, you played an instrument and you're just bringing forth. And I have observed that you have a summer camp, like, you have an entire BU season of a whole lot of things. You have performing marching bands, and I hear the chants and the cheers and that unity, and one would assume you was at HBCU. That's amazing.
Right. The thing about studies is studies go beyond your own personal experience. As a people, I believe that we take education as a building. Mm-hmm. And there's so much to learn just by watching. So yes, I travel to HBCUs. Yes, I have students who cross fraternals, and I've asked questions, and I've watched, and I imagine, and I read, and I watch YouTube, and I study, and I say, okay, I get it. I understand why this works, and I understand how to translate that into my village. I believe that leadership has to be very responsible. Mm-hmm. When called to do a work, we have to be very caring in our approach, very focused in our giving. And we can't take for granted what God's put in front of us. And the reality is that the more that He opens up opportunities for membership for our families, then the more I need to stay focused and continue to do the work that He's given me to do.
So what would you say is more important? Would you say the number, like the size of the band, or the quality? Because there is a product at the end, if you will.
Yeah. I think they're both important. I remember when we had 1 to 2 members. I remember when we had Saturday program with 10 people in it. And I believe that quality is about making sure that, it's inside the black band. In the black van.
Okay.
The keys for the black van are here, but the keys for the store should be in the black van.
Okay.
If they're not, then I check my whole bag.
All right.
Thank you. I remember days when we only had 10 students inside a program. I remember when it was like trying to just grow it. And I think when it comes to quality, you teach quality in preparation for quantity. And I like to believe that if God placed it in my heart, that he's gonna prepare it for the masses. And I'd like to teach my staff that we may be small now, but please continue to work properly and diligently so that when they come, we are ready for it.
Absolutely.
I believe that even today, this is still levels under where God is going to take us. Which means that if we have an office space of 10 desks and the staff need to learn and keep it up to par so that we can learn how to take care of an office space of 10 desks properly so that when we have a building of 10 floors, we know how to keep it and upkeep it. So I believe that quality is preparation for quantity. Absolutely. And that if you focus and keep things disciplined and in order when you're small, it builds proper foundation for when God decides to open the door for the overflow. Absolutely. I believe he blesses a disciplined people. So staff-wise, student-wise, parent-wise, no matter how small we are, there's a bigger picture around the corner. We need to keep it going, quality, in preparation for the overflow.
There you go. So let's talk about the growth of Brooklyn United Music and Arts Program and all of the amazing things that I've observed you've already done in relatively short period of time based on those relationships. If you were to get like a blank check, money no issue, what would be 3 things that you would like to do? Money no issue to help you grow to where you like to be.
Wow. You know, the thing about reaching a certain pinnacle in your life is knowing the exact answer to that question. One of the things that I love about what God does is that he makes the vision very clear, very clear. 3 things that we would do if we had the blank check. Number 1, we would get 1 facility as a primary location and possibly other sub. I've decided that one man can't do it all. I've decided that if you have the desire to serve correctly in the land that God gave you, which means that Brooklyn is my base, my home. You won't see me running around borough to borough trying to start programs. You won't see me running from state to state trying to start programs. I have no problem sharing with someone else what that might look like.
That model.
But I feel like if I can show what I can do here in Brooklyn, that would be my goal. So first thing is facilities.
Okay.
The second would be equipment to properly use all of the space available. And then lastly would be the proper budget for the proper people, staffing.
The staffing.
And with those 3 things, truthfully, the sustainability is forever.
Right.
Forever. With those 3 things, you're talking about staff members who this is their full-time focus, and that thousands of young people are taken care of properly on a regular basis because the equipment is in place, that the departments are built strong with academic advisors and academic tutors, and the young people are able to get the focus they need through meditation classes and focus classes, that their spiritual growth and development is in place because we have strong mentors in place. They have models of success in the staff that they can look to and see and know what it's like. We have a grant and development department that handles fundraising and grant writing so that the funds can continue to roll in. And then we have a numbers department that's analyzing our success stories for how the students come into us and how they started out to where they are 6 months later, 6 years later, and even 12 years later. We have these departments in place where each person can do their job to show that the reality is Everybody that's funded right now is not doing it right.
Absolutely.
We believe that with the right resources, Brooklyn United would be a model for this country. Not a model for child care, not a model for daycare, but we do youth development. And when you think about those two words and how dynamic it should be, we're talking about the development of our future. What do we put into the workforce? What do we put into careers? What do we put into job creation? And properly done, our young people can begin to change communities because they can leave high school and go and make a decision if college is for them, and make a decision if starting new businesses is for them. And I believe when done properly, we can really affect this entire community. I believe when done properly, we'll change the paradigm of what people see and say about Brooklyn youth.
Right.
I believe when done properly, will affect families, because the mothers and the dads and the grandmas and aunties would have no choice but to have a sense of pride because they're watching their young people, their young son or daughter grow up into amazing citizens.
Right.
And if we can do that properly here in Brooklyn with 1,000, with 500, there's no choice but for that to grow. When seeds are properly planted, seeds are properly watered, the forest is going to grow regardless. And I believe that we're right now in good soil, good season. We're right where God wants us, and there's no rush. But in time, we'll see the difference in our community because of you.
I commend you. So you're doing a lot of great things. I've also observed you have sites in both, you mentioned Brooklyn, in both Crown Heights and Bed-Stuy. Those are the primary communities, right, that you serve. You mentioned something about being more than just a daycare. And, I hear this is the BU village. This is, you expect and demand a lot of the families to do this. So talk about the relationship of the volunteers, the committees, the parents, bringing them on time, and talk about that. What makes BU more, like you said, than just a daycare? Right. And what are your expectations of families?
Yeah. I try my best to share with families that you can see a kid in our program who's been with me for 6 years. And I want to show that the kid that's been with us for 6 minutes has the same love and approach from that first moment they walk through the door. I believe parents when they say that they will do anything for their child. I believe parents when we say that we want our child to be better than us. And you can hear that in our village from the parent that might not have made it far academically or even job-wise to the parent that feels pretty accomplished in their degrees and their career. The consistency from one level to the other is they all want their child to supersede them and do better. And I believe that we build on that love. We build on that love for the child, that you see a partner in your parenting, meaning that even homes with moms and dads in it, you still have an outside influence that seemingly, don't know how, seems to love my child the same way I do, seems to have the same care and concern for my child's well-being, his reminders, his attitude, his behavior, as I do. And that's really seen.
Yes.
You can go to places and it feel like you're getting a service. You pay your money, you get your service, and it's all good. Here, it definitely feels like family and not like a service. Yes, there's a fee attached. Yes, you have to support. But the same way I drop my son off to his grandma's house and leave $20, I know he's in good care. And at BU, I try to build an atmosphere where you know that care and attention is going to be there. It's not easy because I'm only one person. I have to influence that into every staff person, parent, volunteer. Please, please keep a level of love going on in all your decision making. You pretty much 99.9% of the time won't go wrong if you decide with love. Our after school program, Saturday program, and summer camp, as we grow, it extends the staff. So the quality of love has to be in place in order for it to grow properly. So we encourage our parents to communicate in a sense of love, complain in a sense of love, read and understand what we're trying to do here in a sense of love. And for some, they're not used to that. They're used to rah, 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 everything being combative and complaints having to be yelled and things like that. And we try to tone things down, keep level voices, and make sure that people know, even adults, that there's better ways to communicate, better ways to voice your thoughts, and that together we'll find a solution. Right. So the village is big, like any village, everybody's to play their role, And you think about a village, you think about levels and who does this and who does that and who's going to take out the garbage and who's going to do this. Right. So everybody kind of has to play their role in order for things to work out properly. Anytime you find yourself in a frustrated situation, you can move back to who didn't play their role. Right. What can we do to strengthen the department, the area, the volunteers, so that this doesn't happen again? So we very much try to build a village situation. We very much use language that's village language. Mm-hmm. This way, people translate it different because we don't want them to keep the same attitude, behavior, and demeanor as they do at school, right. As they do even in some churches, as they do on their block, or some, unfortunately, as they do within their own family. We want to make sure that the village is strong, that the village places and people are in the right places to do the right things at the right times, right. And that the understanding is all for one, meaning that each one person is here not because they want to make sure their child eats, but they want to make sure that all the kids eat on time. Right. And that in absence of one parent because that parent has to work late, or that parent all you have to do is ask. You get a ride home. All you have to do is ask. I'll bring you an extra t-shirt. All you have to do is mention, I need help. You wave that little red flag and you'll see dozens of parents saying, don't worry about it, I'll help you figure it out. And if that can be built in now, academically, social, spiritually, performance level, on every level of what we do here, imagine the change and growth in our communities when BU continues to touch from 100 to 200, from 200 to 400 and beyond. Right.
And you have a great communication structure. It's very responsive. It's very timely. You have groups and different things that you plan. There's transparency there, and I think that helps with changing that and instilling that BU culture throughout. So let's see. As far as some of the partnerships and different things and the performances, like the BU season, your days are long. Like a typical day for Ty Brown, I can only imagine is from 2 a.m. to 2. Like it's crazy. I can imagine. But what would you say so far in 2016 is your most memorable moment?
Well, 2016, we're still hitting some great moments. This has been a really, really nice transition year where we're beginning to implement some of our foundational principles as it relates to academics and just more conversation with the students. We're putting more emphasis on results from the staff and focused attention. I believe our summer camp is one of our major moments in our year. Mm-hmm. We have a chance to touch more families. The need is greater, and we get our first experience in touching students daily. When they come to us every day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., we get a chance to know them more. If you think about 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, that's more time than your parents. Yeah. By the time you get home at 7 o'clock and you eat dinner at 9, you sleep by 10, that's 3 hours with your parents and 9 hours with somebody else. Right. So that somebody else is very influential and needs to be on the same path as the parents. So our summer camps are our chance to really touch many, many parents and many families and try to do it again on purpose and do it right. It's not childcare. It's not daycare. It's not babysitting. BU's purpose in every day is intentional. For me, I can get home 11 or 12 o'clock and God has blessed me with an internal clock. No matter what, I'm up by 4 or 5. Oh. If we get in the house at 1 from a show, no matter what, I'm up at 4 or 5. And that's how I've been since I was a teenager. And I'm surprised in my personal health of how I make it through the entire day. Right. But it's busy days. It's not easy. It's a lot. It's a lot because You don't just run across problems. You don't just run across high moments. Anybody has to go through a roller coaster of high and low. I can get a phone call from the borough president in 1 minute about, hey, Ty, I need you to do X, Y, Z and feel good. And the next minute, get a phone call from a parent who's complaining about their child's homework not being complete.
Right.
And I take both of them serious. So the thing that I feel blessed with is a level head. And that I've already decided that each of my days, when I wake up, my prayer is I know that today is going to be amazing. Amazing because it's going to be full of some amazing moments on the high, and it's going to be full of some amazing lessons, some challenges that's not going to go quite right, and those are going to turn into lessons because I'm going to pick up from them, fix it, and learn from it, and never look back. With that in mind, what day could be a bad day?
Exactly.
When I know for sure there's going to be some blessings and some amazing things happening, and anything else that other people might see as a downer is an amazing lesson, and it won't happen for long.
Right.
Ideas don't stay ideas, and problems don't stay problems. Those are two things that I don't keep and carry long. Mm-hmm. It just takes a matter of time to shift some things around, to shift some people around, to find some new solutions and try some things out, and then never look back on that one.
Right.
But God in time has taught me that there's always going to be something. And with that knowledge is power. So how could I not be excited for the day when I already know what to expect? I expect some high moments and some low moments. That's my life. That's the life. So with that, I go feeling prepared, ready, excited, energetic, ready for the high moment and the low. I ask my staff to be patient with me, knowing that when the low comes, let me think, give me some opportunities to keep on my quiet side, because I've learned great control. Over the years, I've learned some great control of how to react to people, how to react to situations. And with these blessings, if I can display that in front of my staff and they can pick it up, even as adults, they're learning, they're picking up. If I can share with them my thought processes as I internalize issues and problems, and they can just simply sit and listen and learn how I deal, my prayer is that I'm creating other people who are calm-mannered, that are even-tempered, and that can now duplicate that it's okay to react after a few breaths and a few thoughts and to do it right. If I can duplicate that in 5 to 10 people, then BU is in really, really good hands.
I'm noticing you rocking a Brooklyn Nets hat. So talk a little bit. What's the relationship with Brooklyn United and Barclays into the Brooklyn Nets?
It's amazing. It's going on almost 10 years now.
Wow.
I remember I've always had an amazing drum line. Always seemed to produce some of the best drummers in this country, maybe even this world. And they always help attract some of the biggest, names and sponsors. And we started out with a proposal that we sent to the New York Knicks to be their drum line. And we signed a contract with them to do like 20 games a season. And this is many years ago. Mm-hmm. And the Nets saw some video and said, hey, we want to sign you too. At the time, it was the New Jersey Nets.
Right.
And we signed a contract with the New Jersey Nets, and we were traveling. So now we're like almost 3 times a week doing NBA games.
Wow.
You're doing Knicks game, next night you're doing Nets, and you're back to Nets again, or 2 or 1 back and forth doing Nets and Knicks contracts. We did that for a year. And an amazing individual over at the Nets named Miss Petra Pope, she was in charge over there. She said, hey, Ty, great season last season, but I don't want to share you this year.
Oh.
So what's it going to take to do exclusive contract where you can only have one? And, I'm a relationship person. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that when people take time to get to know you and are willing to invest in you, that a request like that is no longer business, it's personal now. And she saw us, New Jersey Nets were on their way out. It was a 3 to 4 year conversation about moving to Brooklyn.
Right.
And she wanted to make an investment in us. I can tell her vibe was right. So we quickly jumped over and stayed with the Nets, knowing that the Brooklyn move would be one day, and we wanted to make the connection early. So we signed a contract, New Jersey Nets only. And then, there was a 5-year period where I did not do this work, where I was off for 5 years. I kind of walked away from my passion, my vision, took some time to myself, took make it sound like I had a decision. God really just put an end to it and gave me some time to leave and go grow.
Okay.
And the great thing about that and the difference between those 5 years is I've really, really learned a lot about me. And, some will call it dark days or whatever, but the reality is in those dark days is where I learned my biggest growth. And when I came back and decided, hey, I'm about to do some Brooklyn United stuff, I'm about to get this going, she inboxed me and she said, is it like you about to start back again? I'm like, yes. She said, you got some kids? I'm like, yes. This is in September when BU first started.
September 6th, 2013.
September 6th, 2013. This is right around that week.
Yes.
The season for the Nets are opening up in November. She saw a Facebook post saying we were started back. She inboxed and said, let's go. We need you this season.
Awesome.
And I said, do you want me to bring the guys to audition? She said, no. She said, if you're back, we're good to go.
Preparation meets opportunity.
we went into Metro Tech, where they had an office, and she had the contract ready. She looked at me in my eyes, knowing the 5 years that I had been through. She says, are you okay and are you ready? I said, yes. She said, I prayed for you all those 5 years. I said, thank you.
That's dope.
At this time, she's the vice president of Barclays Center, the vice president of the Nets. Social media was able to keep her abreast of my changes and what I was going through. And we signed the contract. So after we signed the contract, she said, I told her that I had the personnel, but we were borrowing drums. And I told her that I'm ready to get back full time. And the next thing we got a phone call for was come in and get a check, $18,000. And we were able to start BU with that $18,000. We went out and bought instruments, equipment, went to the building, everything. Her goal was to get drums. We were able to get the budget tight and do drums, horns, everything. And that's how BU got its start. It started, and I share this story because it's a step on faith. When I said I'm starting, I just started. I put out the word, if you have an instrument, come. First day in the park, 60 kids showed up.
Wow.
60 kids showed up. We had video and photo. We created some flyers. We got us a little building. Kept it going. Next contract, that meant the drummers are now being paid. All the old drummers came back. The foundation of Brooklyn United was built off of old senior members from my other organization who are older now, but said, if I know what you did for us and Brooklyn is missing out on that, let's get back in the game and get it built up. We transitioned from a 17 to 24-year-old group to what we have today. 100 and something kids right now from age 5 to 15 in rehearsal because of their call to action, them stepping up. That's the blessings of the Brooklyn Nets saying, we want to invest in this, let's make this happen. And this is why we're at today.
Like you said, planting that seed.
Plant the seeds.
Wow.
And the seeds that you took care of many years ago in New Jersey, relationships stayed strong. I mean, if people who hear these Christian principles and don't believe, continue to watch BU. I'll continue to tell you, it's simply me following the calling, following the principles that we learn from biblical or from church or from friends, and then doing the work and being consistent, faithful, and making it right.
So now, because you have this amazing thing with the Brooklyn Nets, etc., is there room for partnerships where, for example, America, Brooklyn, maybe they could sponsor the horn section or sponsor the dances to kind of help offset some of those costs? Is there opportunity for that? Are you willing for that type of thing?
There's opportunity for help on so many levels. I believe in stages. And I believe that when God is ready, it'll happen. I want to do the work as much as I could on my own right now.
Right.
We know that somebody's watching. We know that somebody's, waiting for the right moment or the right time. But we know that we're doing the work. You have to stay consistent in what you do and believe that the resources will be provided. So yes, if you want to buy some trumpets, if you're inspired by what we're doing at Brooklyn United and you want to help out with some uniforms, or you don't have much and you want to consistently contribute $10 a month or $10 a week, or you want to just be a part of something amazing, BU is that. You'll see your money at work. You'll see instruments being purchased. You'll see kids smiles and empowered. We know how to make sure that you know that your money's in the right place. So there's definitely room for partnerships. There's definitely room for sponsorship. And there's definitely room for an angel who is touched by the story and the direction and the vision, who wants to come and visit and see it for themselves, to see if it's really happening, and interview some new kids, new parents, old parents. Grab who you want to grab, because the transparency is there. Our challenges are clearly listed, but our successes are also properly documented. So we're ready.
So 2 last questions. Number 1, so when you're ready to sponsor drums and dance and theater and horns and drum, all these amazing things you have going on, how can someone contact you?
Definitely.
Telephone, email, Twitter handle?
Definitely. So we can be reached at bkunitedmb@gmail.com. That's bkunitedmb@gmail.com. Or you can call us 347-264-4069. Our Facebook page is also bkunitedmb.com. Website is .com, and Facebook is bkunitedmb. So pretty much, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media handles, our website. You can always reach us. info@brooklynunitedmusicandartsprogram.com is also live. So, call, text, phone, send a letter, anything you like. We'll definitely stay in touch.
All right. And lastly, I know you said they're downstairs now practicing for a big Turkey Day drumline and dance battle next weekend. I'm sure tickets are available. That will be a sense of a fundraiser that can help you out.
Definitely.
I also know that there's a halftime show coming up at the, I think it's the Nets versus Milwaukee on December the 1st. Tickets are available for that. What could one expect for 2017? What's in store?
Amazing. What's happening in 2017 will be something worth watching. Again, I feel like the expansion and the growth that's about to take place in 2017 from January 1st to December 31st will be the most monumental growth that I've had in any of my programs. We are answering the call of the need of our boys being focused on. And in 2017, by the time we hit March or April, we'll have a male mentorship program of at least 500 boys in approximately 2 to 3 locations.
What age group?
From boys from age grades 3 and up.
Okay.
Grades 3 to 12. There will be a male mentorship program for them that'll probably max out at about 500 boys. That'll be up and running in January. By March, we'll grow to 500 and on. In September, we're gonna launch our first school for Black boys, where we'll be developing curriculum and education tools where they're properly being taught and being able to move on. It'll start small with 50 young men and then open up from there. This summer, we'll probably end up servicing 400 young people for our summer camp in about 3 or 4 locations. And those are the things that we have planned. We don't know what else God has in store. We don't know what phone calls will come, what kind of travel and trips and performance opportunities will come. But we know that He's blessed us before, and He's not going to leave us now. So we know that 2017 is going to be a pinnacle year for us, where we'll really, really affect more families, and then tighten up how we do it, doing it even more focused and correctness across the board, from sending us amazing new staff members that can help us grow the vision.
Well, I definitely salute you. You're doing some great work for our youth, for Brooklyn. More to come. Definitely make sure you shout out that phone number and email address again one last time.
So 347-264-4069 is the phone number, and bkunitedmb@gmail.com.
And again, I'm Nikita Van Story for the Our World Media Magazine with Ty Brown of the Brooklyn United Music and Arts Program. I salute you.
Thank you.
We out.